Hi, I'm contestant number 23, and I will be performing a selection from award-winning playwright Edward Albee's The Zoo Story. I will be playing the character of Jerry, a socially inept man who uses his insane antics in order to drive the play's protagonist, Peter, utterly insane, to the point of which Peter stabs Jerry in the chest and kills him at the climax of the play. Much like Albee's later contributions to the theater of the absurd, The Zoo Story examines and attacks American optimism and shows Albee's disillusionment with the American dream. Alright, the story of Jerry and the dog. Okay, the dog, I think I told you, is a black monster of a beast. Big, oversized head, tiny, tiny ears and eyes. Bloodshot, infected maybe, and a body where you can see the ribs through the skin. What else? Oh, there's a grayish, yellowish, whitish color when he bares his fangs, like this. Which is what he did this first time he saw me, the day I moved in. From the very beginning, he'd snarl and then go for me to try and get at one of my legs. And it was a good, stumbling run, but I always got away. This went on for almost a week, always when I came in, but never when I went out. That's funny. Or it was funny. At any rate, I thought about it up in my room one night, one of the nights that I'd bolted upstairs, and I made up my mind. First, I'll kill this dog with kindness, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just kill him. So the next day I went out and bought a bag of hamburgers, medium rare, no ketchup, no onion, and on the way home I threw away the rolls and kept just the meat. When I got back to the rooming house, the dog was waiting for me. I slowly opened the door to the entrance hall, and there he was, waiting for me. It figures. I very cautiously went in, and I had the hamburgers, you remember. I took out the meat and set it down about 12 feet from where the dog was snarling at me. Like so. The dog snarled, sniffed, moved slowly, then faster towards the meat. Well, when he got to the meat, he stopped and looked up at me. I smiled, but tentatively, you understand. The dog turned his face back to the hamburgers, sniffed, smelled some more, and then he tore into them just like that. It was a very gratifying few moments. Then, suddenly, bam! The dog went after me and I sprinted up the stairs. The dog didn't get me this time either. So I made it upstairs and I laid down in my bed and I started to think about the dog again. I was offended and I was damn mad too. It was 6 perfectly good hamburgers with not enough pork in them to make them disgusting. I was offended. But either way, I decided to try it for a few more days. I tried it for 5 more days actually, but it was always the same. Snarl, sniff, move, slowly, faster, stare, gobble, smile, snarl, bam! Now, at this point, Columbus Avenue is strewn with hamburger rolls, and I was more disgusted than offended. So, I decided to kill the dog. Don't act so alarmed, I didn't succeed. The day I tried to kill the dog, I only bought 1 hamburger and what I thought was a murderous portion of rat poison. When I went to buy the hamburger, I asked the man not to deal with the bun because I only wanted the meat. I expected some sort of reaction, like, "We don't sell no hamburgers without no rolls," or, "What are you gonna do, eat it out of your hands?" But no, the man smiled benignly, wrapped up the hamburger in wax paper, and said to me, "A bite for your pussycat?" Now, I wanted to say, no, it's part of a plan to poison a dog I know, but you can't say a dog I know without someone thinking you're funny. So, I said very formally, and I'll admit a bit too loudly, "Yes, a bite for my pussycat!" People looked up. That's what happens when I try to simplify things. People look up. But that's neither hither nor thither. So, on my way back to the rooming house, I took the buns and I took the meat and the poison and I kneaded them together between my hands, feeling as much sadness as disgust. I opened the door to the entrance hall and there the dog was, ready to gobble up all the meat and then jump me. I set down the poison patty, moved back towards the stairs, and watched. The poor beast gobbled up the food as usual, and then he smiled at me, which almost made me sick. And then, BAM! I sprinted up the stairs, as usual. The dog didn't get me, as usual. And it came to pass that the beast was deathly ill. I knew this because the beast no longer attended me. His landlady, the owner, approached me the night of the murder in the hallway, and she confided in me that God Almighty had struck her puppy dog a surely fatal blow. At any rate, the dog recovered his health. On my way back from a movie on 42nd Street, I was genuinely hoping that the dog would still be there waiting for me. I was, how would you say, fascinated, intrigued? No, I was heart-shatteringly anxious. That's it, I was heart-shatteringly anxious to confront my friend again. Yes, friend, that's the only word for it. I was heart-shatteringly, etc., to confront my doggy friend again. I loved the dog now, and I wanted him to love me. I had tried to kill, and I had tried to love, and both had been unsuccessful in and of themselves. I hoped, and I don't know why I expected the dog to understand anything, much less my motivations, but I just hoped the dog would understand. It's just, if you can't deal with people, you have to make a start somewhere. With animals. Don't you see? A person has to have a way of dealing with something, if not people, something. A bed, a cockroach, a mirror. No, it's too hard. That's one of the last steps.
I have no theater etiquette at all.
With love.
Shut.
With vomiting, with crying, with fury, because the pretty little ladies aren't pretty little ladies. With making money off of your body, which is an act of love, and I can prove it. With howling at the moon because you're alive. With God. How about that? With God, who is a colored queen, who wears a kimono and plucks her eyebrows. Who is a woman who cries with desperation behind her closed door. With God, who I've been told has turned his whole back on this whole thing some long time ago. And someday, with people. People. With a concept, with an idea, and we're better. And this humiliating excuse of a jail cell, we're better to convey one single, simple-minded idea than in an entrance hall. Where? Well, there would be a start. We're better to start a beginning, to understand and to possibly understood. We're better than with a dog. Just that, a dog. Dog. It seemed like a perfectly sensible idea. I mean, a dog is a man's best friend, after all. Was trying to feed the dog an act of love? And was possibly trying to kill the dog not an act of love? If we can so be misunderstood, why have we created the word love in the first place? The story of Jerry and the dog. The end.
Don't do that.
Oh, don't do that? Okay.